Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning meditation. I'm going to click this out here. Good morning. Thank you for being here with me today. It is an interesting Monday. Happy November, happy new week, happy day before the election. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our Election Day meditation at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, and you can work back from there for the Mountain and Pacific, 11 and 10. We will be just holding the space for everybody's feelings tomorrow, no matter what those feelings might be or where they're coming from. And we're just going to hold that space and know that we are all in this together, no matter what. Just like through the pandemic, just like through hurricanes, just like through anything we go through, we are still human. We are still living next to each other, and we still must work together no matter what. So that is what we'll be holding tomorrow. And hopefully you can't hear the construction going on outside my building right now because it sounds like I'm in the dentist's office and they're working on my teeth. It's very loud. So hopefully you can't hear that. I was just doing some rearranging this weekend and I came across this quote from a book called Discovering Our Internal Peace by Robert Brumet, who was my, my gosh, way back in 1993, 94, was my spiritual counseling instructor at the um, Unity School for Practical Christianity when I was becoming a licensed Unity teacher. Unity was the denomination that I grew up in. And right after I got married, I went through, gosh, 2 months of schooling to become a licensed Unity teacher so I could teach classes and do spiritual counseling. And that's where my spiritual counseling um, foundation started. And then I grew from there with Center for Enlightenment and, then I got my master's degree to become a therapist. So anyway, Robert Brumet holds a special place in my heart. He was just so fabulous, so calm, so compassionate. He taught me the difference between empathy and sympathy. Now it means something else, but way back then it meant, um, you know, he had this really great way of showing how to be empathetic without taking on somebody's feelings as our own. And I just always remember that. And I actually have a couple of videos out where I use that, his example of, yeah, anyway, you have to watch the videos. I don't want to go into it now because that's not why I brought him up. I brought him up today because I found this quote from one of his books. Hopefully I can read this without my glasses. Um, he's talking about becoming the observer self, becoming the witness, which is what we are doing and practicing when we are in our meditation time. And he says, with practice, the individual will begin to loosen his or her identification with these thoughts and feelings that come up. And eventually, with no effort, the identity will shift to one's essential nature, which is inherently peaceful and free from suffering. Although this practice is intended for the internal experience of liberation, one's words and actions will also reflect this internal shift. What needs to be done in the world is then accomplished with greater ease and less attachment to specific results. And I thought, how beautiful this is. I will add this to the description in the recording on YouTube. But how beautiful this is as we're going into our election week of holding that space, detaching from the outcomes and feeling that peace. We can feel peace when we know that we are one and that we are um, ultimately in one way, we're affected by the results, right? Whatever you think they are going to be or would like them to be, we're going to be affected by the results on the outside. But on the inside, our nature doesn't shift. Our attitude can shift. Our um, emotions can shift, but who we are doesn't shift. It doesn't shift. The fact that we're human beings having to live together doesn't shift. We are on this journey to strengthen that internal awareness of who we are that doesn't change based on what's happening on the outside. And whether it's a pandemic, a hurricane, or a presidential election, these are opportunities to help strengthen ourselves. A couple of weeks ago, we did a meditation that about staying out of the drama. We stay out of the drama. We stay out of the drama on the outside, and we stay out of the drama on the inside. More importantly, we stay out of the drama on the inside, because if we can stay out of the drama on the inside, we most definitely can stay out of the drama on the outside. So, with that said, we are going to practice that that internal presence, that internal peace, just being, just allowing for the experience of quiet, of peace, of presence within, letting all the thoughts go, not following them, not chasing them. A good question to ask yourself, if needed, is if I weren't thinking about this thing right now, this topic, what would be happening inside of me? If I weren't following those thoughts, what's happening? When we practice sitting in that stillness, in that quiet, in the sometimes even boring peace inside, but as we do that, we strengthen that ability to stay out of the mind stories, the emotion pulls. So let's take a deep breath and relax, relax into your chair. Oh, just let your body melt into the chair. Let's bring our attention to our breath, using our quick breath. Breathing into the count of 4 and breathing out to the count of 4. Helping our mind and body synchronize. Sometimes we don't even know what different directions our body and our mind are going in until we pay attention and try to synchronize that breath. And then maybe we see that, oh my gosh, it's just hard to focus on my breath because of what my mind is doing. Then we know we're going in opposite directions internally. And the quick breath just helps synchronize all of that. Remember that pace of that counting is 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. for each inhalation, exhalation. Let your mind just focus on that counting right now, bringing it in from any other thought of the day, of the morning, before our time together or after. Let that breath come in through the belly and out, relaxing the belly. Even as we do our quick breath, the counting is one thing, the breathing is one thing, but that diaphragm movement is also what helps stimulate that calming part of the nervous system, the vagus nerve. It's not important to know that. It's just important to know that that belly breath is more calming and synchronizing of the mind-body system than breathing through the lungs, chest. Maybe you feel your body shift and relax as you continue this breathing exercise. Maybe you notice your mind calming down, slowing down. And let's give our mind another concrete focal point. Just let your attention go to your center. And for today, let's focus on that heart. The tip of the heart. You can, I want to say the tip, I want to say the top of the heart. If you can imagine physically where the top of your physical heart is. I like to put a finger there so that I know where to draw my attention. And we don't have to be physiologically accurate. We just put a general sense there. And that attention is so loving to the physical heart. And that heart center is a relaxing, calming, nurturing place. And it helps our breath to continue to be steady. And we pull all that energy from the mind into the heart. We simply keep bringing our attention away from thought, away from sounds around us, away from the body discomfort we might be experiencing, and we let that attention rest in the heart. And we breathe through that heart center. And if your mind picks you up with a story, just bring your attention back to your breath. You are not really attached to that story. It's just noise coming up from the mind that comes and goes with these stories. As you bring your attention to your heart, to your breath, you feel your true presence right here. No story, no story. And we just keep gently bringing that attention back to the breath, back to that heart center. We are that awareness within that heart center beyond any story that the mind tells us. No matter what opinions we hold, no matter what emotions arise, all of that comes and goes, and we remain. And if you have time today to continue your meditation time, bringing your attention back to your breath, to your heart, I invite you to just continue that practice. And if you need to go about your day, just take a couple of deep breaths. Help your mind-body system switch gears again into feeling your presence in the room, taking on that activity list for today. And I do hope you can join me tomorrow for our election day meditation for peace. In the meantime, I encourage you to practice staying out of the story, staying out of the story that you're holding about the election. It doesn't mean you don't have preferences. It doesn't mean that you don't care. It just means if you feel yourself getting worked up, take a step back and say, okay, if this story wasn't going on right now, how would I be feeling? How would I be feeling? And just kind of notice what shows up for you. Maybe you'd be feeling the same way. I don't know. Then there's more stepping back to do. And then there's more stepping back to do. We do our part and we step back. We do our part. And like the quote I read earlier, we stay out of the story and into the peace. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow or at least next week. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you soon, one way or the other. Thanks for being here. Have a good week.